I am just here to talk, have a conversation, and in a manner where both of us take something back from it. All of you are either in school or have been in school. How many of you have been first rankers? 2% of the room. How many of you in the top 5? That's another 3% of the room. Lovely. That is what I want to talk about. I was amongst the 5, but not the top 5, probably starting from the bottom. So my topic for today is being average is good. The point is very, very simple. I didn't say being a loser is good, or I didn't say being a winner is good. I said being average is good. Because a person who's average has a lot more scope than a person who's very clear with his goals right from the beginning, because he has only one thing to achieve. Think about it. So for the teachers, for the students, don't take that pressure that if you have not figured your life out already, trust me, there is time you can figure it out. There was only one thing I used to love since I remember I was a kid, which was movies. And obviously, my mom, being like any other mom, used to say, बेटा पढ़ लो, पिक्चरें तुम्हें पैसा नहीं देंगी. I go back and tell her, mom, अब दे रही है. That's a different thing. But the point was that she used to always say that at least make sure you get respectable marks. My dad had a family friend in Ahmedabad who used to have a chemical factory. तो बहुत क्लियर था कि बेटा 10th के बाद साइंस लेना, केमिकल इंजीनियरिंग करना और अपने दूर के फूफा जी को ज्वाइन कर लेना. Like any middle class family would think, and rightfully so. I said, ठीक है, यही करना होगा. फिल्में तो मैं तब भी देख पाऊंगा. I got the least in maths in my 10th board. And that was the first time I saw my mom genuinely emotional. But the thing was that she's like, I teach maths to the world, and you have got the least number of marks in maths. I had no answer. I didn't like maths. I genuinely didn't like it. But उससे बड़ा जो problem था वो ये था कि अब मुझे science नहीं मिलने वाला था. So when at that point in time in CBSE you need to have a certain percentage, only then you can opt in for science. Cool. So and then the only option left was to opt in for commerce. So I still remember I was sitting in Rekha ma'am's cabin after my 10th with my parents being completely embarrassed. And that's when Rekha ma'am asked that, why don't you take up commerce in CBSE? I said, I don't like commerce. And she said, what do you know about commerce? I said, the only thing I know about commerce is I don't like it. So she said, एक काम कर, एक हफ्ते के लिए तू कॉमर्स की क्लास में बैठ सीबीएसई में. If you don't like it, we will figure something out. I will get you in science in Gujarat board. We'll figure something. And I enter the first day of the commerce classroom. Teachers came subject by subject, period by period. I realized इसमें पढ़ाई क्या है? This is all so natural. This is all that you need for a respectable living to understand how the world outside schools and colleges work. It took me one day to decide, that one day of orientation of commerce that happened, that I'm gonna be here, I'm loving what I'm being taught at. After 12th standard, I secured decent marks because again, I loved what I was studying there. The same battle after 12th. And I'm saying this because again, it's a healthy mix of students and teachers. कि 12th के बाद फिर से, and आजकल memes इतने बनते हैं कि I don't need to say a lot of things, but every time in the 10th, when you are there, your parents will make you feel like कि बेटा बस ये cross कर दो, फिर life sorted है. वो same चीज़ 12th में होती है. Trust me, जिंदगी भर खत्म नहीं होगी. So the point is, when I reached 12th, there were conversations again in the house. Should he do hotel management? Again, I'm sure the same conversations will start that अगर BBA करेगा तो सिर्फ MBA ही का option बचता है. अगर BCom करता है तो probably there are more options like that. I myself got into career counseling, and from enrolling myself into career counseling, I started counseling other people and joined the same institute. So all those things happened. But then the way things worked out, I got into BBA. Organized events, if you guys from Baroda would know of a competition called BBA Bazigar, that was a brainchild that I thought of those many years back. And we started off as a small thing and it still is going on. So that's a small legacy I built in Baroda when I started off in BBA. Then came the another पड़ाव जो 10th में खत्म होने वाला था वो अभी तक खत्म नहीं हुआ कि MBA कौन से कॉलेज से करना है, सिर्फ BBA करोगे तो कुछ नहीं होगा. MBA अच्छे कॉलेज से करना ज़रूरी है, ठीक है, 2 साल, Symbiosis. I met a professor in Symbiosis. He was a consulting professor or a consultant to Foxstar Studios in the UK. It just sounded very fancy to me. I remember him coming into and he was a quantitative techniques professor, which is maths again. So I was wanting to bunk that lecture ki yaar quantitative techniques kaun padega, I'll figure my way out how to get the exams. But I was sitting there for my friends. The professor enters and the first thing he says is, I hate numbers. And I was like, he's a QT professor, he's saying he hates numbers. So I had an immediate connect with him. And then he said, because you guys are future managers, you guys are sitting in an MBA class, your job is not to sit and make numbers. Your job as managers will be to understand sheets. Your job as managers will be to understand numbers and not mug them up. So if you know how to read a balance sheet, you don't need to be good in accounting. A CA will do that. So I started interacting with the professor a lot, and I'm talking about 2010, 13 years back. Film marketing wasn't really a thing at that point in time. Films were just evolving. What clicked on that day, for some reason I remember that very clear day where when the professor introduced himself, for the first time I could join marketing branding, which is something I used to love as a course, and films together. And I said, wait a minute, is there a possibility to be a part of any studio or any production house where if I have to read a balance sheet, why don't I read a balance sheet with film posters in it? If I have to go and manage something, why don't I do it in an organization where the conversations are about films? So I just thought there is something that can be done and marketing and films can come together. But I land in Mumbai, there are placements going on in my college. I opt out of all placements. I was the student president at that point in time, so everybody's like HUL aayega, PNG aayega, they'll offer a good 16, 17 lakh package. And I said, I just want to give it a try. So I came to Mumbai, and at that point in time, you think being a student president is a very big thing. So I was carrying my student president card to Mumbai, went to the gates of Yashraj and said, I want to meet the marketing head. And they're like, what Symbiosis, what student president, please get out. So I was not allowed in Yashraj, I was not allowed in Balaji, not even inside the gate, and rightfully so. Finally, Z came on board. They did the GDPI screening process. I got shortlisted. And they were very clear, they were offering me sales in Z TV. I said, no, I want to do film marketing. They said, listen, but we don't produce films. I said, I don't care, I need film marketing. But they're like, how can we offer you something that we don't produce? That's when I said, but you have a regional channel called Z Talkies that produces and markets Marathi films. They said, but you don't know Marathi. I was like, but I know marketing and I know films, I'll figure it out. But they said, nobody wants to take that profile. Everybody wants ZTV. We are giving you ZTV, and you are saying you want a regional channel. I said, yes. That's how my journey into film marketing started, where I didn't know the M of Marathi. I didn't know what film marketing is. I knew what marketing is, and I knew what films are. And I still can't forget, for the very first time, I saw my name in the end credits where all the other people's name come in Marathi written. That I still feel was a dream come true for me, because that was never something I imagined. But when it happened, I realized that was my calling. So the reason of me to tell you this entire journey is, there might be times you would feel that this is your calling. Don't fall for it. Don't be in a hurry to decide that this is what I want to do. Just make sure you keep your options open. I'll tell you why. One very simple thing, and this is all coming from the very little experience I have, is had I thought 20 years back that I'll produce a film and the biggest director in the country will present that film for me, Mr. S.S. Rajamouli. That time he wasn't the biggest director. He didn't even make his first film. There would have been no aim, ambition, or a quantifiable aim for me, or a target for me. All I knew was, I just knew one thing. I want to be a part of a company or a brand that I don't need to introduce to anyone. So I was okay working for a Colgate. I was okay working for a Good Night. I was okay working for a Quality Walls, as long as it's very cool to say I'm working in Amul. I am okay. So my suggestion to you guys is very simple. Keep your filters low. Keep your filters less. A lot more will come on your plate. That's number one. If you are focused, it's a God gift, take it. But I am talking to the 99 people who run the race and not the person who comes first. Because if you have come first, you've already moved ahead. The first film that I'm producing, made in India, it's the reason I'm saying this, I'll tell you, I'm not promoting the film, it's not yet even started. But it's the biopic of the person who started Hindi films or Indian cinema in India. That's why it's called Made in India. So it's the biopic on Dada Saheb Phalke. That man found his calling at the age of 41. We all have heard that you should learn from others' mistake. Never do that. Those mistakes happened because those were them. You are a different person. Make your own mistakes. Make sure you don't repeat them. Learn from them and move on. I don't think you should learn from others' mistakes. Why? Because if somebody else has failed in something, doesn't mean you will also fail. You are a different individual. Don't have one person as your guru. If you have one person as your guru, he is eventually also a human being. He will also have his flaws. Try and take the most of so many people that you are exposed to, so that you, with your own brain, can decide what's right and wrong for you. And don't blindly follow one individual or one mentality. I am talking economically, I am talking politically, I am talking emotionally. Each and every person around you, you can learn so much from them. So never always look up to learn. Trust me, if you start looking down and learning, you will learn way more. You will learn way more. I have seen that myself. Every time a Munna Bhai plays, why all our eyes dwell up when Munna Bhai hugs the jhadu wala? There is a reason for that, because we all are made up of that mud. We all connect to it. We all connect to that emotion. If, I'm being very honest, and I cross my heart when I say this, if there is a sweeper who is excited to sweep the floor, he is my role model. The point is, you should be excited to do what you are doing. The most important thing which I believe in, and this is not read anywhere or taken from anywhere, is the fact, please define your own success. Never, and I'll request even the teachers, never ask or tell anybody to become like someone. Be your own self, define your own success. When you go back today, you have heard such great stories of what people have fought, some within, some on the outside, but they all are heroes. They started from somewhere, they have reached somewhere. Go back home, take 5 minutes, think about your own journey. You will see a hero in yourself too. It's been 13 years I've been in Mumbai. Started my journey from Marathi films through an employment exchange. I knew nobody in Mumbai. I got into Dharma Productions, marketed films for them. So Student of the Year 1 was my first project. Then happened Ye Jawani Hai Diwani, where we heard some beautiful songs that Sir played. And did a lot of films after that, Humpty Sharma, Lunchbox, Bahubali 1. And after that, I realized that, again, Dharma is a great place to work. Karan is a great boss. I mean, I couldn't have asked for anyone else better as my first job in Bollywood. But because he's so good, all the creatives are ready. There is no input required on the posters and the trailers because he's so good at it. There's never a problem of budgets. If I have Ranbir Kapoor and Deepika Padukone looking like that after their breakup, picture to chalni hai. How am I, as a marketer, adding something to it? And that's when I saw a lot of small films without budgets, without faces, trying to make a mark. And that's where I thought that, should I just try and see if we can market the films which require a marketing brain? Trust me, 99.9% people said your career's over because nobody leaves Dharma. Are you mad? I mean, this is what people try to achieve by the end of their careers. You are starting your career with it. Having my background in marketing and advertising, I wanted to be the Ogilvy of Bollywood, where everybody has their own marketing teams, but we come back to you with a campaign for your film. So this thought was new. No producer, no actor, no director understood when I said marketing strategy. He's like, strategy kya hota hai? Picture achhi hai to chalegi. And for some reason, people resonated. I mean, a very big acknowledgement of Mr. R. Balki, because he's from the advertising industry, and he thought what I'm saying is making sense. That's why Kienka and Padman happened. And gradually actors realized the value addition I'm putting in. Gradually directors realized, producers realized, and I can proudly say that in the last 7 years, we've promoted close to 120 films, where right from how do we need to position the film, what the colors of the posters need to be, how the trailer needs to be cut, how long the campaign duration needs to be, what should be the budget, what should be the budget allocation, where should the actors go, what should they say, what should they not say. We design all of it. And this was never happening before. So we tried and created a niche for ourselves in the industry. This was never my aim. What I'm trying to make sense of the entire talk is, I was aware of two things. I want to do something related to films. My strength is marketing. Same goes for you guys. Which is the field that excites you the most? Select the field that you enjoy. Then come to what are your strengths and weaknesses. And once you start combining this, and don't be hard on yourself, it is a process which will come to you. You will find your calling. When we talk about passion, I feel it's a very abused word. Everybody would just come back. It's almost as abused and misunderstood as depression. Passion is something that genuinely doesn't let you sleep. So don't use that word unless you feel so. It's been 15 years that I have been dealing with movies. There is not a single day, even today, you talk to me about a film, I can go on for the next 3 days without sleeping. If you are this level of passionate, I'm not saying I'm the most passionate person under the sun. All I'm saying is, don't use the word lightly and say, I like drawing, I'm passionate about drawing. That's not passion, my friend. That's a hobby. So understand the difference. Otherwise, you will feel neglected and you will feel, oh, I was passionate, why didn't things happen to me? All I'm saying is, find your passion, define your passion, go for it. Trust me, things will work out in your favor. And I would like to end the talk with something which I very strongly believe in. And I feel that is my life's motto. कि अगर देखना चाहते हो मेरी हौसलों की उड़ान को, अगर देखना चाहते हो मेरे हौसलों की उड़ान को, तो जाओ, जाके थोड़ा और ऊपर कर दो इस आसमान को. Thank you everyone.